All right, we'll start off with Noah. Noah, go ahead.
Hey, Robert, thanks for the time. So after a kind of slow start to the season where you allowed a few runs, in your last 7 2/3 innings, you've only allowed 1 earned run, and you have an opponent batting average of 111. Has there been any difference that you've made mechanically, or is it just you're getting more into a rhythm in the season?
Not mechanically, no, but in the way I'm attacking hitters, definitely. I've been trusting my fastball a lot more, and just talking with the pitching coaches here, and just really pushing on using that fastball a lot more, and I feel a lot more confident right now, and I think that's what's really helped me.
Have you been trying to work on some of the other pitches as well and developing them more?
Yeah, I've been playing catch with my changeup every day. I'm trying to mix it in here and there when I can, but that's a pitch I feel like is really going to help me, especially against lefties down the road.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Patrick Saunders, go ahead.
Hey, Robert, how are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks. We already touched base with Bardo about your T-shirt you're wearing today, but have you guys kind of embraced that whole, bullpen gang mentality? And obviously it goes beyond the T-shirt, but are you guys forming a kind of a tight-knit group down there?
Absolutely. We spend every waking moment with each other down there, and it's a fun group, and we're definitely embracing that mentality of, be ready for whenever. And I love it. I think everybody's pretty much prepared to pitch in whatever situation we're called in. We want to go out there and perform and help the team any way we can.
Daniel's, I think he's 35, closing in on 36 now. You probably know his history.
Yeah.
Has he taken on any sort of, maybe leadership is an overblown term these days, but has he taken on a mentor role at all for anybody, given everything he's been through in his experience?
I'd say he's kind of a quiet leader. He's not someone that's going to approach the team as a whole or the bullpen as a whole, per se. But, I've had times out there where I'll talk to him during BP and get a chance to know him and his background. And, it's obviously a really, really interesting story. And just getting a different perspective on baseball and, what it took for him to go through all that. And I think it was awesome just to be able to kind of learn that. And I think anyone else that's probably, I'm sure there's other guys that have talked to him about that too. And he's definitely a mentor to everyone that's out in the bullpen.
A lot of players in this day and age, but I think particularly pitchers and maybe even more particularly relief pitchers have really gotten into the breathing, the calming, all of those techniques, because you guys are in a high pressure situation, only for, an inning at a time, so to speak. Have you incorporated much of that into your routine?
Absolutely. When you're out on the mound, there's not a whole lot that you can't control, but being able to breathe and slow the game down a little bit, that's one of the few things that you are able to control. So that's something that I like to try to work on when I'm out there.
And you mentioned a moment ago the changeup. I know that with the starters on this team, that's become, Bud Black has really pushed a lot of guys to try to incorporate that. But it's a little different sometimes with a reliever. I mean, a reliever can get by if he's got 2 really good pitchers, or sometimes even 1. He can get by with just those.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your thinking about trying to incorporate the changeup in your game, simply because it's a weapon against lefties, or is there more to it than that?
Yeah, mainly just for lefties. I feel pretty comfortable with righties already with my fastball and slider. But my splits against lefties and righties are obviously a little bit different. And I think that if I have that changeup, I'm able to attack lefties a little bit differently, and that gives me something else I can show them.
Can you learn the changeup enough at this point of the season during side sessions, whatever, to actually take it out there and give it a go during game competition, or is that something you really got to have, that you perfect during the off season?
No, you can absolutely pick it up during the season. It's all about feel. And right now I feel like the feel for that pitch is starting to come around, and something that I'm probably going to start trying to work in there a little bit more when I can.
Do you use the traditional circle change grip on your change?
It's more of a split change, actually. I've been messing around with all sorts of different grips. I've tried circle change, straight change, split, Vulcan grip all over the years. I've tried everything. And so it's been a struggle for me to try to pick up that pitch, but I'm still working on it, and I feel like it's starting to come around.
Cool. Thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it.
I will go to Thomas Harding.
Hey, Robert, thanks for joining us today. First of all, Bud Black has, throughout his career, been able to identify the pitchers with the hot hand. When you got traded here, was there a thought, hey, I've got a chance to really earn a role here that it may not be set in stone when I leave spring training, but I've got a chance to pitch in some important situations?
Absolutely. You know, when you go into a season, no matter who you are, and when you're out in the bullpen, it's always going to be about who's doing well at whatever time, and earning the trust of the manager, I think, is a key to being able to go out there and let him put you in situations that he feels comfortable with. And I feel like going into the season, you know, I knew I was going to be middle relief, but obviously with the opportunity that if things went well, I'd be working into some higher leverage situations, which is exactly what I wanted.
How big was it for you guys last night to hang in that game and end up getting the win on the road?
I think it was awesome for us just to be able to snap that streak and you know, get the ball rolling on the road a little bit. You know, I think from top to bottom, the pitching staff, the hitting, it was all, it came together perfectly last night. So it was really fun for the team. I think probably one of our best wins this season, just because of the satisfaction of being able to finally get that first win on the road.
Did you feel it coming together as far as the bullpen was concerned during the last homestand? The fact that, I guess, the first homestand and maybe the first road trip, not a lot of guys were sharp, but it looked like it came together. Could you feel it out there that, hey, this is what we look like and this is how it should be?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it takes time to get that feel for everything, going from Arizona to Colorado and then going back on the road after that. So it's taken a little bit of time for everyone to get settled and comfortable with moving back and forth between home and road. But I feel like everybody's starting to find their groove right now, and everything's starting to come together pretty well.
What is the, I guess, leadership situation down there? You do have some veterans, and who are the guys that you lean on, and kind of how does that work down there?
You know, you mentioned Bart already, and he's obviously a guy that I looked up to and try to learn as much as I can from. But Gibbons is also another guy that has taught me a lot so far this year, even just going back to spring training. You know, there was an at-bat in particular I remember with Jose Abreu, and, you know, I kind of picked his brain and talked to him a little bit about the approach in that at-bat, and you know, just being able to read hitters and look at what they're doing, if they're leaning out over the plate, and how you can keep them off balance.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Givens. He's been through a lot of different roles, a lot of different situations in a pretty long career for a guy down there. What does he mean to you as a veteran and maybe even a mentor leader down there?
You know, like I said, it's somebody that I can look up to, and someone with a lot of experience that I can pick his brain and try to learn as much as I can from him, especially in those later inning roles. As we start moving into something like that for myself, it just gives me a better idea of how to attack hitters and, you know, figure out ways to develop as a pitcher even further.
For a lot of your career, you were a starter or expected to be a starter. You have now settled into a bullpen role. Do you feel like this is the rest of your career that that you found your place in Major League Baseball?
You know, if anyone ever wanted me to go back into the starter's role, I'd obviously be open to it. But I feel very comfortable in the bullpen. I like where I'm at right now, and I like the routine, the everyday routine of being able to go out there and, you know, if you have a bad one, you're able to go back out there the next day and you've got another opportunity. I love that.
Okay, and I think you and I talked during the homestand about the shifting from home to road and learning the movement on the pitches. Even just out there last night, did it feel more comfortable for you that now that you've been through it once?
Absolutely. It's just all about getting your visuals and setting your sights in different spots based on whether you're at home or on the road. You know, when you're in the playing catch before the game, or if you take a little bit of time on the mound, just seeing exactly what your pitches are doing and being able to adjust to that on the fly.
We saw Esty pitch pretty well down there. Is there someone that you're looking at down there saying, hey, maybe people don't know it, but this guy's really about to take off?
I mean, I think that everyone in that bullpen's got potential to be great down there. Everybody's got incredible stuff down there. And, you know, we've got some older guys, we've got some younger guys, but everyone's got the potential to be really good. I love everything about our bullpen.
All right. And with the say win and the cowboy motif down there, do you have a role there? Do you have a cowboy nickname?
I don't think
we
haven't really set cowboy nicknames yet, but we're still embracing that cowboy mentality. We've got some of the quotes up around Coors Field in our bullpen, and some Cowboy quotes down there. So it's pretty fun.
All right, so wait a minute. The quotes around Coors Field, you talk about the ones in the clubhouse or the?
There's some posts around the bullpen, and they're just some quotes from some old Cowboys, and just some mentality type stuff.
All right. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Noah and Patrick for some follow-ups. Noah, go ahead.
Patrick, for Thomas's last two questions, I'm going to kind of combine them for your preparation from home to road. Can you talk more about that and how if it's different, how it is different?
On a day-to-day basis, the routine doesn't change at all. It's more about in catch play, just trying to set your visuals and where you want to set up on your targets with certain pitches that might move a little bit differently at home versus on the road. But as far as routine's going to stay the same.
And also, too, you may not know this one since obviously you're one of the Rockies' newer players, but with the hype song for your guys' celebration of the player of the game and all that, do you happen to know what the song is? Because Ryan McMahon was talking about it last night, and he couldn't remember the name of the song. So,
well, whenever we win, we always play "The Business" by Tiesto. I know that.
Okay, that's probably what he was talking.
I'm guessing that's the one he was going for.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we'll go back to Patrick to finish up. Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, Robert, it just dawned on me, whenever a new pitcher comes to Colorado, one of the first things we always ask them, of course, is Coors Field and altitude. Then it dawned on me, I'm not sure any of us ever asked what it's like to pitch back at Great American Ballpark, which has a reputation, maybe even a bigger reputation as a home run ballpark than Coors. Do you think, in terms of at least keeping the ball in the yard, that Coors is an easier place to pitch than back in Cincy with that, because that's a home run place for sure.
I mean, we'll see when things warm up a little bit and the ball starts carrying a little bit further. But as of right now, I've liked it so far. I mean, I know it carries there, but it's a huge ballpark, and there's a lot of room to work with out there. So I think the biggest thing for me, especially, is just being able to trust my stuff, and I think that's what's helped me so far this year.
Did you ever have any home runs at your old ballpark where you were like, man, I can't believe that one went out?
Oh, believe me, there's plenty of those. You see it, not just me, but everyone's got their share of stories.
I figured. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thomas, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up. You came into baseball as a number one pick. And how long does it take to realize that you're just a guy trying to make it, as opposed to having all that hype with you as a number one pick?
It took me a while. I think at first, initially, it was a pretty fun experience. And then as the years went on, I started hitting some struggles. It wore on me a little bit. And I think once the hype wore off and, I kind of lost those expectations, it was easier for me to restart. And especially coming here too, just having a fresh start for me has been really a nice change.
Hey, thanks, Robert.
Anything else, Robert?